Hello everybody and welcome to a very special RuneScape live stream. We're here on a Thursday and it's because it's all about one thing, the upcoming launch of RuneScape on mobile. If the trailer or maybe the screenshots you may have seen a little bit early overnight didn't tell you already, RuneScape will officially be coming to mobile devices this summer across iOS and Android. And we've also got a pre-registration period starting right now that we're going to talk to you more about. We're super excited, and to tell you all about this story of mobile, we're joined by a cavalcade of talented Jagexians to bring you all the latest, so let's hop to it. Please welcome first up, Mod Warden, executive producer of RuneScape.
Escapers.
You know him, you love him. It's Mod Stu, a senior content developer here on the RuneScape team.
Hello, thank you for tuning in.
Another instrumental pillar of the mobile team here, it's Mod Ashers, a senior technical developer on the mobile project.
Hi guys.
And finally, I like to think of him as our introducing of the opening titles we've got for you today. It's the stream debut of Mod Bam, who is our head of RuneScape product marketing. Welcome, Bam.
Hi everybody.
All right, we're gonna get right to this. Right, we've got our cast of people. What are we here to tell you about? So, I think you all know there's no big announcement for RuneScape that's not complete without a speech and a letter from Mod Warden. So, Mod Warden, why don't you tell us, what are we announcing today? What's all the details?
Yeah, today is all about our road to mobile launch. It begins with pre-registration, or sometimes we call it pre-reg for short. Other areas we call it pre-order, that sort of thing. So as we speak, multiple elements are going live for that. They've been trickling in over the course of the day as they get propagated around the world. So assume that it's coming to iOS and Android, and it'll be there this summer. And this is we've been talking about mobile for quite a time. The most real we can make it, and it's been a long journey, no small feat, lot of effort, huge amount of effort. And it's just really finally kind of great getting RuneScape to our next platform. And I always like talking to the team that mobile is the world's largest gaming platform. The physicality of mobile is most widespread everywhere. And really this is several months ago, maybe even right after I got started. It's 19 months ago now, right? And talked about growing RuneScape back in October. It was about bringing RuneScape to Steam, one of the world's largest gaming destinations. Now it's on a new hardware platform, and it's really another big moment for this. And I get all sentimental when I talk about bringing more citizens into Gielinor and beating hearts and all these kind of really important things to me. And this is it'll keep continuing like this. I want to bring RuneScape everywhere that we can and where it makes sense. And so it's like this is fantastic. It's a 20-year-old MMO. We like to say it's a MMO like no other. It's loved by millions, and we're going to keep adding more to that. And so today is really about that next phase. It's the pre-reg element, and we've got destinations on the iOS store, on the Google Play Store, where we're looking for community support and community activation for this moment. And we'll have this over the next couple months. And so it's like it's not only a big important day for that, but this is how we can get RuneScape kind of propagated a little more around the planet than where we are today. And so with that, we tried to make it a little more exciting than we've done product launches. And Mod Bam and several other folks back at HQ have drummed up a lot of rewards for us, and our product teams and dev teams have been getting them all ready for launch, and we're really excited about those rewards. The more registrations we get, the more rewards we'll unlock for you. But really, our objective here is to grow RuneScape, and this is the best way that we can do that.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say this has been exciting for a lot of us here. Remember when we would think back to Steam, we had confidence that Steam was going to grow the community, and then we estimated that the community who we already had would kind of turn up for us, I remember. And then even though we had those high expectations, we were still kind of bowled over by what happened. So we're hoping we can do it all over again at the mobile, together between everyone in the community and kind of what we're trying to do on our side. Like, hopefully we can bring in more people than ever. And that kind of leads me to a nice self-set-up segue, I guess, into Mod BAM and your role on the team, which is, there's an importance around mobile and trying to reach all these new adventurers that we're trying to bring into our world, about discoverability and the role marketing plays and kind of helping let people know about RuneScape, and not just about RuneScape, but what it is. What's your team been doing to kind of set up mobile for success? What's the kind of critical element you play within that, and kind of as a team, like, what's marketing's role to kind of grow the world of RuneScape?
I think we do a great deal of work understanding what the developer is creating for RuneScape, and then why that matters to the players, and also just understanding the opportunities that we have in terms of growing the community and growing the audiences. So for our team, and it's a pretty big team, it's a publishing team of people that work for the community, people that work creating communications for Facebook and Twitter. We have an in-house creative services team that made that trailer that you just saw. All the key art that you see in our marketing, that's all made in-house. We have a writing team. It's really a great resource for us to just spread the word. And right now we just have a huge opportunity. So like Steam, the App Store and the Google Play stores just have tremendous reach. Right? So we can easily introduce RuneScape to just a whole range of new players. Many of these players are mobile gamers who aren't really experienced with this kind of open-ended MMO experience, and here's an easy way for them to try it. And then the other thing that's an opportunity we keep in mind is just reintroducing RuneScape past players. A lot has happened over the years to RuneScape, especially this last year, especially with the stuff that's coming out this year, that we can tell a great story. And being one of the first major MMOs that's cross-platform playable across PC and mobile, that's real convenience for players, whether you're a current player or a past player or just a new player. The ability to play a major MMO on a handheld device it's huge. So we've been working with Apple and the Google teams to work on this pre-reg program. And it's been really fun to work with these guys. They're gamers. One of the team members is actually a hardcore RuneScape Iron Man player, right? And in one of the meetings, he was really upset that it went long because we were interrupting his Iron Man time. Really great to learn. But this is the sort of thing you run into with RuneScape, because it's been, so many people have played it. And right now, their support has been tremendous. So we're currently being featured on the Google and the App Store for this pre-order program. And the pre-order program is really an essential tool for Apple and Google to gauge the enthusiasm for games. And the more enthusiasm that they see, the more they're going to support us with more featuring, with more messaging. And this just allows us to really reach a worldwide audience. So pre-order today, tell your friends to pre-order. Let's get the unlocks all the way through. We'll be running this program between now and the summer release. So we really want to show Apple and Google, the power of this community, and just drive those numbers up and really set us up for the future.
Yeah, I think to add to that as well, like what a lot of people don't realize about your role is, I know going back to what we were talking about, I think it was like September we first mentioned that mobile was going to be 2021, so we could talk about the first time user experience and all the important things that come with doing something really right on mobile and getting it right for the platform. And Stu and Ashers are definitely going to be running us through a bit of what we've been cooking up for that a little bit later. But Bam, that's also extended to, like, we've been doing like research, right? Like there's a whole process of even just the store and what kind of users. Do you want to tell people a little bit about that story? Because I found it really interesting about like how you have to consider this design specifically for people hitting a store on mobile and how different they are.
Yeah, a lot of the when you're going to the App Store, what the research tells you is most people go to a product page and they're there for only 5 seconds. 5 seconds, right? So you have 5 seconds to have a decision on whether you want to install the game or whether you want to go find something else. People are kind of in scanning mode. So we do a lot of research on what's that first image that you see. right? We love the Nomad image, that image that's behind Mod Warden. You'll see that image on the Steam store. You'll now see that on the App Store, on the Google Play Store. But that's really a way to help people, hey, we're here, right? And then we've tested the icon, right, as to which one will help people make that install decision quicker. So a lot of this research we've been doing over the past 4 months has been really helpful in making sure that whoever comes to us and learns about who we are, we're really giving them a chance to install and try the game. It's the same thing we're doing from the game and then installing the game and actually being in the game. So how do we take you from kind of unaware of the game, aware of the game, into the game, enjoying the game, and now we have a new community member in RuneScape.
Well, someone in the chat just actually said, that image prompted me to install the game on Steam, and I really fell in love with this game. It really is a sweet image. There you go. Marketing at work. Now, speaking of the store, I think I'd be remiss to mention, some people may have seen that the iOS store has a kind of an expected date, but we're saying summer. Mod Warden, do you want to shed any light on this? Just so people understand what's
right
going
now
on.
it's summer, but everyone knows me, right? Everyone knows that when I jump on here with some other folks and new faces, that it's not that far away, right? But it's planned for summer right now, and it's not a locked in date. When we set up these sites and kind of publish the material there, we often have to put in some baseline information of sorts, right? So that's where that comes from, and but yeah, it's coming very soon.
So I'm gonna just before we go on to a little bit about Ashes and Stu have some really cool stuff. So stick around, by the way. This is gonna be worth the wait. But we just want to talk a little bit, go backwards a little bit here. So we talked about pre-registration rewards, and I think hopefully production have a nice image lined up to show these. Modbam, what's this all about, and kind of what's the thought process behind this?
All right, so what we're doing is over time, as more people pre-order, as more people register, we're going to unlock these rewards. And the rewards start with some fun cosmetics, the hairstyle. We have Magic Leap teleport device. We go into a sword, up to an animated pet, up to armor, and also 7-day 50% XP boost. So if we can get to that top prize, this is really a way to, one, get some cool stuff, get the XP boosts, but also to show Apple and Google, just how much they want to support this game. Because a lot of what Apple and Google is just bringing new audiences, new players to their platforms. And this is a great way over a 6-week period, 7-week period to show that enthusiasm, right? So as I said before, today, go to the store, pre-order. If you have a friend who's currently a player, have them pre-order. If you have a past player, have them pre-order, pre-register. Let's drive those numbers up.
Well, and this is the thing, right? And I think Warren, Bam, I remember us talking, and this is really a kind of reaction to how the community came out for Steam, right? And trying to put it into something where there's actually something to recognize the effort that we know all the fans are going to go put in for us, right? Or for the universe, I should say, not us.
From every product launch that we do, we take the learnings, we try and bring them forward, and this was something that the team came up with, and we get these assets made. We try and think about what the functionality works, and then we, the creative teams jump all over it and try and get it into a great spot, and it's like one of the reasons I'll talk about Mod Bam for a second. Bam joined us right before archaeology launch, and our road to getting archaeology out the door, a lot of that hype driven, a lot of the creative support that went into that, and how he works with the creative services team, all of these pieces, it's like how we get the message pushed out there, how we get a second look, a second chance, a first best impression, right? And 2020 was been a massive year for us. We've grown and grown and grown and grown. We're continuing into 21, the best growth that we've actually seen since 2015. This is because of all these little pieces that have been working better together. When we first started, heard the call about getting the content rhythm or the content cadence. I set it to bingo, kind of getting that up. trying to address some of the broken windows that we're having, our discussions with the community. We've stepped up in all of these different areas, and it's helping us make a bigger difference and have bigger, better growth moments for it. So we're continuing with that. We're super strong, and it just feels always have to kind of take a pause and look what's happening around. But most importantly, it's the community that is helping us make the biggest difference there.
Yeah, we always call it the magic, don't we? I know in the letter you've penned as well, we talk a lot about like the players of the Crux Eqal magic that turn this from a game into a universe, really, right? So the more of you we have, the better for all of RuneScape, right?
Just to get to this day, to give you an idea, we've got several folks working on a moment like this. We've got Mod Try. Try is a producer that is completely embedded in the mobile team, and she herds all of the cats and brings the issues up as quickly as possible. Mod Feistos. These are two folks we haven't brought on live stream. I promise you, I'll drag them on here. Another producer that joined us from EA a few months back, and both of these producers work together with Mod Liam in the day-to-day. Mod Sean is a person that does all of the kind of we call compliance submissions. So there's a lot of headaches and hoops to jump through there, and as a compliance issue pops up, it's the scramble to kind of get it back in check so that we can hit a deadline that we tried to hit. We've got commitments with our partners, and when they see all of these pieces moving well together like this is how we get the best attention, the best support from Apple and Google, and so between now and the launch, we're now in our last stretch, right? It's about dealing with the last bits of content going into game. It's about getting those bug counts down. We've got to always deal with crash rate, and we're always highly looking at the crash rate. We've got a team of engineers on that side. And really we're just kind of finally here. And the great thing about making a cross-play game is that and especially a live living game like RuneScape, it's about the continual improvement of that. And we're committed to growing RuneScape on mobile beyond our launch day. Make those continual improvements onwards and upwards, as we say, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, mobile's a big part of our future, obviously, and one of the things we've talked about, if we go back to what I was talking to earlier about September, was we were talking about that before we did this, we wanted to get things right. We wanted to make sure we were coming onto the platform in the best way possible, and that we had the fundamental things that you need to be successful on that platform sorted. And Mod 1, unless there's anything you want to add, I think you kind of covered everything before I go over to Mod Stu and Ashes to dive into a little bit of that work that's been going on. So,
one thing I wanted to note was if you were a member of the open beta test and you're trying to pre-register, it's because you're a member of the test, you won't be able to pre-register. So these rewards will be given to you automatically as a beta tester. So don't be confused by that, and let your other friends who participated in the open beta test on Android know that you'll be getting these rewards, at least how many that we get to earn as a community automatically.
And also a big thank you to everyone who's been playing as well. We know at certain times the crash rates increases, we've tried new things or done new refinements and stuff, and just thank you for being part of that. Like I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but from my understanding, it's been a critical part of the process, and just thank you also for just participating and playing. It helps all of us immensely in getting to this point. So thank you as well. Right, on to the segue. So, Mod Stu, Ashes, you've been waiting so patiently. Thank you very much. Hopefully this will be your time to shine. I know you've got some really cool stuff to show us. Stu, I'm going to come to you first. You are in for a treat, everybody. If you haven't already got it from the many, many tutorials of the past, Mod Stu has come in locked and loaded, this time with a full presentation to run you through. So, Stu, just before we get to the presentation, I know mobile is a very different place that needs a very different kind of introductory experience. And I hear you've been working on a brand new one just for mobile. Can you quickly outline why a new tutorial was important for mobile?
Certainly. So Tutorial Island is our OG starting experience. It performs pretty well on desktop, well, enough that it performed marginally better than Nashdell when we A/B tested their retention a few years ago. But it's a different story on mobile. Tutorial Island is legendary, but it's long and it's linear, and we find new mobile players aren't always as resilient. In the current funnel, we churn about twice as many mobile players. Most new mobile users drop out of Tutorial Island in the first 5 minutes and don't come back. So this is a mobile-first tutorial that's built with touchscreen devices in mind and introduces core loops that are well suited to mobile.
Well, it sounds interesting, and I know a lot of people are probably going to be very excited there. I guess we should just let's get into it. Should we get the presentation up and watch this tutorial unfold?
Okay, great. So the next slide, please. So the first thing I just want to express, because the concept of a mobile tutorial can have some scary connotations, brings to mind, say, a tutorial where you have to mindlessly follow instructions, tap this button, then this button, turn on the autoplay, and the avatar completes the quests for itself. Tutorials that take away your agency and your choice. What I want to say up front about this mobile tutorial is we're squeezing RuneScape. We're not squeezing RuneScape into the mold of a mobile game. We're not. We want to be honest and present RuneScape's identity as it is. Because RuneScape is very unique, the players it retains are highly invested and they love it. And we want more of those players. Our team's vision is to foreground the joy that RuneScape already bestows. Transparently and quickly presents the essence of what RuneScape is, remove barriers between the player and that joy. So that if they're the type of player that would find RuneScape appealing, they can make that informed decision and they can make it on a mobile device. So first we frame the narrative context and your place in the world in a short, voiced 2D cutscene. There'll be some placeholders as we're midway through revising this. Here's a transcript of the version currently in game to contrast the narrative elements we're adding, trolls on a boat to give the player a clearer starting objective and impetus. The player is on a boat on the high seas, their appearance concealed in hooded robes. You're en route to the mainland, narrated by the ship captain in the foreground. We see you atop a pile of riches and fallen enemies, an aspirational vision of the destination in your adventuring future. Suddenly, we're pulled back into the moment, the triumphant music scratching to a halt. You're now pointing across the water to a boat ahead, close to an island. The captain looks shocked. We scan right to see an inexplicable sight, a ship sailed by mountain trolls. Well, half a ship, just barely, splintering beneath the trolls' own weight, with half of them paddling in the wrong direction. The trolls of Death Plateau are mounting an ill-conceived invasion of human territory. The plan mostly involves taking down the various outposts and satellite villages, weaker targets before the full attack. This boat is approaching the tiny island of Davendale, deep in the Southern Sea. Davendale is the smallest and most insignificant of these outposts, and so the trolls have sent their most insignificant champion. The leader of this band of makeshift pirates is Stove, a bumbling, incoherent troll who loves eating household appliances. The captain takes a detour, dropping you off to warn Davendale of the incoming trolls. You land on Davendale Beach just after the trolls have crashed their ship and lumbered onto dry land. You're initially clothed in a cipher outfit that conceals your appearance. This defers character creation to midway through the tutorial, so we can quickly get into gameplay. One of our guiding principles is to introduce one mechanic at a time to reduce overwhelm, then give you breathing room to experiment with that mechanic. So first we introduce touchscreen camera controls, and progress the tutorial in response to the player performing that action. We plan to add the troll's crashed boat here and wet footprints leading from the beach to the forest. This will environmentally guide you to your goal and frame the narrative introduced in that cutscene. Then the player proves they've learned to control the camera by rotating toward an indicator that teaches movement. Crucially, we don't pressure you with prompts here, telling you what to do at every step. We've used prompts to introduce a mechanic, then give you a space to experiment with the controls you've learned, and move on when you're ready. Next slide, please. There's a settlement on the horizon, and the environment organically guides you towards the only path you can take, but you're in control. Agency is important. So much of RuneScape is about exploration and discovery. The flags above the archway are animated, drawing your eye with motion, and a high contrast path into a new biome to inspire your curiosity. In the forest, we introduce world interaction. An obstacle blocks your path. A curious player can investigate nearby footprints, indicating where the trolls went. We introduce how to advance through dialogue. Interacting with a sign knocked over by the trolls, we reassure the village is right up ahead. Its iconography is welcoming and joyful, and you climb over the obstacle. Freedom of choice is key in RuneScape. There's a clear path forward, but a player can also choose to explore off the beaten path. If they do, they encounter the route taken by the trolls toward a hole they've dug under the settlement for a surprise attack. A curious explorer type is likely to want to dig deeper, so we introduce a mechanic where they can get more entertaining information. The mini-menu is covered later on in the critical path, so a player who doesn't explore doesn't miss out. And those who do explore are rewarded for their curiosity by various terror-bad puns and interactives in the optional area, expressing RuneScape's living world. Continuing along the path in your own time, you encounter the Mayor of Davendale, who waves encouragingly as you approach. You have your first conversation with an NPC, reinforcing the action mechanic. Mayor Davin introduces himself and explains he saw you arrive from his humble mansion on the hill. He's oblivious to the trolls shambolically raiding from the mainland. We're reusing a herald character as a placeholder here, but we recently got the final models from outsourcing. Here's an early ideation for the mayor's design, exploring characterization. Amusingly enough, it was a collaboration between two Daves. Mod Osborne, who was the lead designer for this project, though he didn't choose the name of the island, we forced that on him. He leaned into Henry VIII at his most flamboyant, with a frilly stockiness that's a mix of good living and sturdy reliability. Dross's family founded Davendale and have been in office for generations. A walking humble brag, the mayor has a loud, warm, and affectionate personality. He's proud of his heritage and wears the mantle of office passed down to him. But it's worn through the ages, and he struggles to uphold his ancestral legacy. The joke is that Mayor Davin, for all his proud bluster, leads a community of no more than a dozen people. He's the biggest cockerel in a very small coop. His domain is tiny, but he handles himself with a king's deportment. Davendale's tiny utopia is isolated from the mainland, blissfully unaware of the impending danger and woefully unprepared to deal with it. They need a hero. You're then presented with your first conversation. You can warn the mayor about the trolls, but he laughs off the idea. He can't imagine a mountain troll would swim all the way to their little island, and the idea of trolls on a boat, preposterous. If you investigated the footprints, you unlock an option to present them as evidence, but he's unwilling to accept the threat to his community. Instead, he rolls out the red carpet and relocates to the town square to give you the grand tour. You can just barely see the mayor in the distance, in the shadow of a statue of his ancestor. We don't tell you where to go with an objective tracker and breadcrumb trails. The gate is open, the path is clear. The evidence is there for you to piece together and feel engaged doing so, maintaining agency and control. Entering the village, we introduce the minimap to your screen, as we transition from the linear controls tutorial to more of a sandbox environment. Another guiding principle is whenever we introduce a new HUD element, we draw your eye with motion. Since the interface is often in your peripheral vision, you may not notice a window simply appearing. We also aim to keep UI tutorials short and minimize inputs. In one page here, we summarize what the minimap is and why it's useful. You enter the bustling village with freedom to explore. Tonally, we aimed to express RuneScape's grounded medieval fantasy aesthetic. Quaint and welcoming like Lumbridge. Thatched cottages, colourful, warm and inviting. When you talk to him, the mayor persists with his tour. He hopes to persuade you to live in Davendale. He's oblivious to the troll invasion. Druss finally gets the message when he sees trolls have dug an enormous hole in his garden and commandeered his estate. We just have the static base troll model to show you at the moment, but as you can see, we've got some new troll models here. We recently got the animations from Outsource, and they're currently being processed. Their animation when they spawn from the hole is particularly cool. With these new models, we attempted to capture the tone and silhouette of our trolls at a higher fidelity, to find that contrasting sweet spot between imposingly powerful and goofily lovable. That's what makes our RuneScape trolls unique. So over the next few milestones, we're planning to deliver these other trolls, and we're creating modular components that can be applied to the base troll model to express different combat styles and various characters. As I said earlier, the leader of this band is a troll called Stove. He thought it would be a good idea to steal a ship and be a mighty pirate, which en route became progressively less of a ship because trolls are very heavy. His band are much cleverer, but much smaller, and they kind of resent Stove. So Druss has finally accepted Davendale is in danger, but their peaceful hamlets woefully unequipped to deal with it themselves. The villagers need you to answer the call to adventure and lead by heroic example to inspire their courage. RuneScape is more of an open-world sandbox MMO than the linear theme park MMORPG most players are used to, and we want to express that in the tutorial. You will need to raise Davendale's spirits and rally the villagers. You either fight the trolls head-on and level your combat skills, or inspire the villagers by collecting food to fortify them in battle and heal the wounded. In the process, we introduce you to the concept of training gathering skills and artisan skills. RuneScape is a highly self-directed experience. You choose your own adventure. So Davendale is a mini sandbox, a microcosm of open-world training. We present you with two equally viable compulsion loops that you can freely move between. Progression is the core of RuneScape's gameplay, and classlessly leveling multiple skills are the veins of experience that emanate from its heart. In RuneScape, the skills you choose to level are fundamental to developing your character, but your choices don't lock you out of content. Earning experience and contributing to either goal raises Davendale's fighting spirit, represented by a progress indicator. If you head toward Minnow Isle, a tutor provides you with a fishing rod until we later introduce the tool belt. We add the backpack at this state, gradually easing you into the top level interface and require you to open it to learn where it is for future use. We note that RuneScape skilling is centered around management of a very limited inventory, then walk you through the core loop of two skills and their synergizing production chain. You're guided toward a level 1 fishing spot and how to identify them. We've improved these fishing spots to contrast better against the new water shader and added rising bubbles so they're visible from any angle. We deliberately showcased rod fishing as that better fulfills the expected fantasy of being a fisherman. To improve feedback when you catch a fish, we've also added a player animation to distinguish when a catch fails. When you earn your first level in a skill, we introduce the skills panel and the diversity of skills and rewards unlocked by leveling. You've unlocked a level 2 fishing spot and can see you get more experience from catching these fish. When you fill your backpack with fish, the tutor makes you aware of a range to cook your fish and level a production skill. Donating the cooked fish completes the progress bar, and you're guided back to the mayor. You lead by example, and the rallied citizens go back to fishing. Alternatively, if you choose to begin your journey by building your combat skills, the mayor's adopted daughter loans you her father's sword, passed down through generations. You're guided interactively through locating and equipping a weapon, so you know where your backpack is in the future. We also introduce the importance of food in combat and provide you with some food if you need it. After some experimentation and qualitative focus testing, we opted to conceal the combat HUD, so you can focus your attention on in-world health bars and effects. Simply tapping enemies, managing life points, and picking up drops can be surprisingly complex to a new user. Revolution lets us drip feed the depths of the combat system. We found front-loading those complexities overwhelmed more than they enthused, so we kept things simple in the first 5 minutes. The Berthorpe combat tutorial introduces adrenaline abilities and hotbar management, so it's something we can postpone and introduce in increments. Collecting loot is also tutorialized, and your first level up similarly introduces the concept of skilling. Comparably to the non-combat path, earning an attack level unlocks a new feature. You now meet the skill requirement to kill the troll leader. Combat is safe here should it not go well. Or you can progress by grinding trash mobs, even fighting them with other players, and collecting basic loot, such as a shield you can equip now you know how to. However you choose, villagers will gradually rally to the village square as you progress, until a large enough group have gathered to confront the trolls. Inspired to bravery by your heroism, you and the villagers compel the trolls to flee. If you defeated the troll boss, the remaining trolls are easier to convince. The villagers cheer and celebrate you, and the mayor realizes he doesn't even know your name. This segues into choosing your name and appearance, in the character customizer rewritten by Modash's team. We return to the world with your new character. The mayor lays a narrative bridge to the starting zone and gives you some rewards, including your tool belt. To onboard the mini-menu, the player adds the fishing rod to their tool belt, expressing they no longer have to carry tools. We then introduce the worn equipment screen and indicate where to find their new tool belt. We then frame these as quest complete rewards. This tutorial won't be in the quest list, since not all players will have access to it, especially if it's only on mobile. But narratively and structurally, the tutorial resembles a quest, and it helps to portray how RuneScape's quests are different. Finally, the mayor gives you your home teleport spell for when you're ready to leave Davendale. You select the starting zone in the Lonestone network, so you always know how to return to a safe area. And finally, we teleport to the starting zone on the mainland to continue your greatest adventure. How do we do for time?
We're good. That was bang on 20 minutes. Congratulations.
Yes.
Oh, Mod Stu, we're gonna need a new segment from you, which could be story time with Stu.
Yeah,
I'm happy to do that.
I think Audible are going to be knocking on your door looking for a contract at this point. Thank you very much for running us through that, Stu. I hope to all of you, you enjoyed that. I saw a lot of love for, I think a lot of the mobile team are probably watching tonight. It's a huge moment for the team that's been working really hard, and all the love that was in there for the tutorial and the visuals and a lot of the decisions that are being made, I'm sure will mean a lot to the team. So thank you very much, Stu, for giving everyone a look at that. I'm sure people will see it in action pretty soon here. I just want to, just before we move on from that, I just want to ask one thing, because it kind of came to mind as you were talking about it. Like, there's a ton of effort that goes into getting a tutorial right. Like, this has been in development for a very long time. Is that safe to say?
I can barely remember when we started. I think it might have been early design around November or December. The thing about it is that it goes through a lot of iterations.
Oh, did we lose Stu? When cats attack, have we had another cat attack? This is it's the curse of the RuneScape live stream for any major announcement.
Give away a lot of secrets.
Oh, he's back. We have Stu.
Yeah, we're back. Where was I? I've completely lost where I was going. November. I don't think I actually let you finish your question anyway. So why don't you finish your question first, and then I'll come back.
Oh no, it was just literally, like what kind of effort goes into creating a tutorial like this? A lot of people are saying like, oh, these seems like really smart decisions. I know you're referring a lot to focus testing showed us X, Y, Z. Like, what? I was just interested to know what goes into making something like this, really.
Well, we have the big benefit of having had a go at making a tutorial several times already. So we have a lot of previous efforts to learn from and draw that data. So we tried all sorts of different strategies over the years, some that are quite linear, some that are embedded in the game world, and it's more like a task structure. We've done ones where we portray the narrative more strongly, give you something that's more of an example of what RuneScape could be in the future, but not necessarily something that aligns too well with what RuneScape actually is. So this time around, we just basically dug down into what has worked well with tutorials in the past, which ones hasn't, and crucially understand what is RuneScape, what is the core of the game we're trying to present, and then portray that as quickly and rapidly as possible. But also, I should express that we have a lot more user experience professionals in the team than we're used to. It's something that we've been hiring into recently, and we're really seeing the benefits of that. So there's a much more industry experience, not area in this area, a lot keener thought that goes into it, a lot more collaboration, and then also we just do a lot of iteration, a lot of internal feedback, improvements. As we go, we're essentially introducing milestone increments of this tutorial over time, and then getting focus testing on those increments and getting data back to help determine how effectively it's going. So it's qualitative, it's quantitative. Yeah, I've said enough. But basically, I'm really excited right now. This is the domain that I love working in, and it's really awesome to show it to you.
Well, there's so much love in chat, so I think there's a lot to be proud of there, Stu, and everyone else involved. All right, Ashes has been waiting so patiently. Thank you so much, Ashes. You've been sitting there like zen, waiting for your moment, but it is your moment. We talked obviously about the importance of some of the things that were important to get right before we launched on mobile. You know, part of this is the first-time user experience, which we've just seen, you know, there in a tutorial format. But another is the overall experience on mobile, and I know that's been a huge focus for you, Ashes. So, you know, coming into our launch this summer, what are the main goals for the areas you're owning a part of? What's been going on with you?
Yeah, so I don't really know how I'm going to follow this. Stu, your presentations are amazing. So yeah, mainly for us, it's me and a sort of couple of other devs. Our main focus is the sort of the login experience that a user would have. So that's obviously getting from downloading the app, then installing it, and then getting right the way through to this point where you can actually play Stu's and the guy's nice new tutorial, and then where to go from there, basically. So that's kind of been our sort of focus, really.
So I know you've brought a video or two to showcase some of the things you've been working on. Do you want us to run us through these?
Yeah, so all these videos are shot directly from my phone. So the first one there was the login screen. We've had a bit of a redesign, sort of to get the layout to very mobile first. This is obviously the lobby. You can see sort of we've had it stretched full screen. We can fit everything in. We've had new designs come in. Just to sort of get that layout and feel like you can sort of tap everything and sort of get to that place you need to get to in a very quick manner. So obviously, yeah, I went through all the sort of the login stuff. This was actually me logging into game on my mobile. And the first thing you can see here.
Can we pause it here, production, by the way? Just to make sure production pauses it. Oh, you continue. I was just getting production pause.
Oh, okay. So this is obviously a brand new sneak peek of what is to come. Our UI artists have been having fun with getting all of our icons up to date. Some of you that have been in the beta already know the struggle of what our icons currently look like. So hopefully this is a massive improvement. So we wanted to obviously improve the clarity of all of our icons, make sure they're readable and are easy to use for mobile. We wanted to make sure, so I'm kind of reading off a couple of bullet points that I've got that I've had prepared because I know I'd mess this up otherwise. We wanted to make sure that the icons and stuff were sort of RuneScapey and fit with the theme of obviously mobile and everything that's coming with it. So we want it to be more friendly, and hopefully that will then fit with the environment. And as I said before, also readability and clarity. Hopefully everyone can sort of see what each of the buttons now do, and where we kind of want to go. So yeah, obviously I guess we can carry on with the video for a bit. The sort of as I go through, I just kind of go through each of the side sort of sections. So I should open up sort of the backpack in a moment. Yeah, just to kind of get that feel of what each of the sort of the sections sort of look like. You know, we've kind of taking up as much of the screen as we feel necessary, without necessarily kind of doing too much. The mobile screen is a lot smaller, a lot more compact than a desktop screen. So we've tried to combine a lot of our sort of interfaces that people sort of generally use on a somewhat daily basis to make sure that they're all accessible. So that basically players can experience the game as we sort of allow them to on a smaller device. So obviously I've just shown off the mini map down in the bottom. We have everything sort of hidden into the panels as it sort of hides and close. Allows users then to sort of use your thumb in that bottom right hand corner to obviously get your navigation around. Chat as well, which I've just sort of showed, has a couple of states. That is something that we are sort of working on. So it allows you obviously to do your sort of general sort of chatting using all the standard inputs and keyboards. And yeah, we sort of have a couple of states at the moment. I believe then I go into the shop, if I remember rightly, or do I bring up the activity tracker? It was the shop. So this is obviously a new mobile designed first shop that is in game. So we can do all the purchases and everything via this. It is very mobile friendly, as you can see. Big buttons, big areas for you to click. All the information is all held here, which means we don't necessarily have to take users out to specific websites and do it that way. It can all be done via your phone, either through the Apple Store or the Google Store. But yeah, most of the stuff that obviously we've been working on is to get all of our interfaces and stuff mobile friendly. So making sure they can sort of take up the full size of the screen, they're easily to work with, easy to tap, making sure that we have that sort of usability state in. So yeah, I kind of went through a few bits and pieces. The video will stop shortly. But yeah, that's kind of where we've gotten to. There still is more to do, as always. RuneScape's been around for 20 odd years, and there are some relatively old interfaces that need a bit of update. Can you pause it here for us before this video continues a bit further? So yeah, we'll be getting onto those, making sure all those then sort of get updated. So I've paused on this screen. This is something new that we want to get in as well. As some of you eagle-eyed maybe notice, there is now a nice drop-down menu in the bottom left-hand corner. This option will now allow us to change language from within the login screen, rather than having to actually obey the language of your phone. So yeah, hopefully we can get this in on mobile and hopefully progress it into PC at some point. But yeah, you can carry on the video with this. So yeah, basically the drop down will allow us to change into any one of the supported languages, and any others that we may consider to do in the future. We will also be adding to this, I'm sure. So yeah, that's the 2 videos that I've kind of got to share. It's not as exciting as Stu's, I don't think, but hopefully some pretty pictures go a long way.
There was lots of love for it, and thank you for bringing it on. Like, it's a critical part of making mobile the best experience it can be. And also, I think, like, shout out to everyone involved. I know there's a lot of people on the UI side and everyone that brought a lot to this. So we're only but a few people representing a big project with a lot of people's hard work. So shout out to anyone watching. You're all amazing. Mod Warden, just before we go to Q&A, is there anything you want to say or add to this, to kind of close out us talking about mobile before we answer some fan questions?
Yeah, I think you covered it well. Bigger team behind all of this. I love we get story time with Stu, but we also get to see how RuneScape becomes more of a mobile experience and all the considerations that are new for us, right? We've been a desktop only product for years and years, and this is new for us, and we've both had to grow in this area, learn from some of our partners, and also we have a lot of new folks in the team to help us out with that. So that's really key to understand.
Yeah, awesome. All right, we've got plenty of questions. So I'm going to get to them. The first one I think we should cover, definitely be around, obviously, people there. Quest Point keeps going, hang on a second, if I don't have a mobile, I'm not going to, Dave and Dale. What happens with that Quest Point? Is that a quest I can never complete? Do you want to clarify that up, Modstu?
Yes, certainly. Apologies. I think the way I presented that was a bit misleading. So this isn't a quest. It's not going to be in the quest list. It doesn't reward a quest point. We effectively just present the quest complete screen at the end, so that to a new user, it's framed like a quest, but mechanically it isn't a quest. So don't worry about anything like that. But the one quest point from Learning the Ropes, Unstable Foundations as a legacy still remains. That hasn't changed.
Gotcha. All right. So we're going to go through some of these. We may not have answers to all of these here, but there's so many good questions today. So this is amazing. Thank you for everyone. I guess let's keep it with the used to for this one. How long is the tutorial expected to take to complete overall?
We're aiming for 5 minutes. I'd say probably it's leaning a little bit towards 10 minutes at the moment, so we're going to try to refine that a bit. But yeah, that's our principal aim is that we know mobile players will generally make their decision within their first 5 minutes. So that's the critical time that we want to manage things for them. I mean, to an extent, having it finished bang on 5 minutes, in some respects, can be the end of a first game session. So it's potentially beneficial to overrun or underrun slightly. But yeah, we're aiming for that.
Cool. Question here from Bacon Main. I'm currently a beta tester for RS Mobile. Will I have to register again to receive these new prizes? I know we mentioned it earlier, but do you want to reconfirm that one, Bam?
What's the question again?
I'm currently a beta tester for RS Mobile. Will I have to register again to receive these new prizes?
No, if you're a beta tester, you'll receive those prizes when we officially launch. Whatever prizes we're able to earn through the pre-order system. So as a beta tester, yeah. And if you go to the store and you don't see the pre-reg button, that's why. It recognizes that you're a beta tester. Now, if you do opt out of the beta test, you will need to register in order to be part of the prizing.
Awesome. And will those rewards unlock after the pre-registration period ends and mobile is released, or will they unlock incrementally?
They'll unlock. Well, we'll know basically from the launch through to release what we're unlocking, and we'll tell everybody, on our channels, how far we've gotten and what's been unlocked.
Awesome. This is a good one for you, Mod Warden. What other platforms will RuneScape be coming to in the future? Will I be able to play RuneScape on my fridge?
Yeah, a lot of devices getting super smart these days, right? Not ready to talk about that yet. Obviously, it's hard enough getting a brand new platform out the door in this current form. But all kinds of other platforms, right, that are super interesting to gamers. So we'll wait on that one.
There's lots of tutorial questions here. Can we replay the new mobile tutorial?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask that. At a foundational level, Tutorial Arden does support that, and I had that in the foundation when we transplanted to supporting two tutorials running in parallel. In practice, though, we haven't kept a careful attention on supporting that as a feature with QA. We kind of descoped it as a feature quite early on. So it's certainly not something I would commit to. Some of the foundation supports it. I think the primary issue is more with when we reset a new player, it means that we are resetting things like your user interface back to the defaults in order to have that constrained UI. Because I've shown you on a mobile, but it fully supports desktop as well. There's effectively a new player layout for your interface when you're there, and we don't have somewhere else to save your previous state. And there's various constraints that we have to bear in mind, like we can prevent you from bringing items and things in there, but there may be factors in you having certain skill levels or other aspects of a higher level player that may in some way impact the tutorial flow. So there's quite a lot of corner cases that we need to bear in mind for that. So I'd like to say I wish we could, but in practice I think we probably would have to go back and have a really strong dig at it to try and fulfill that feature.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Some questions here around device support. Will we ever get the mobile UI support for PCs that have touch screens? Is there anything on our radar with that?
So I think it's a possibility that we will look into it. Whether it actually happens or not is something a bit further in the future. First things first is we sort of need to essentially nail down what our look and feel is for mobile, and then once we have got that, we can go back and see where it may or may not fit into a PC environment.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely want to strive for pushing for consistency, so that we don't deviate too far. But again, this is the hard challenge is getting a brand new platform. We're learning a lot from it. We have a lot of new talent in the team that is helping us figure out our new visual styles and all the improvements that have been going with that. Like, for example, the icons is a really important move for us. We'll be finding great ways to bring that into desktop as well and push for consistency.
I'm also seeing a lot of questions about, obviously it's a mobile game and an application. Will it work on things like iPads, etc., like more tablet things that use the same store?
Yes. It might not work so well at the moment, but yes, we are in the process of getting everything working across iPads and tablets. I've got both of those devices on my desk right now that I do test against. So, and I know our QA runs some minor tests on them just to make sure that we haven't essentially broken anything. But yeah, the long term is we should have a HUD and a UI that will work across sort of all of our platforms that we go for.
Awesome.
We have several players that play on iPad because it is one of the better accessibility devices for them, and they can normally not play on things like desktop or a smaller mobile device. So I found that quite interesting.
I'm seeing a lot of love for the Cypher outfit that we showed, and kind of the kind of mystique of that outfit I think has gone down well. Are we intending to ever make that available as a cosmetic potentially?
Yeah, we were hoping you'd be interested in it, so that's something we'd have taken into account. The plan, and of course with tutorials, things are always evolving, plans can change, but the current plan is that it's available from the wardrobe and it won't have any unlock requirements, so players will just have access to it regardless of whether they've done this tutorial or not.
Awesome. Ashes, I think this one will be for you. Can we open two menus at once, like for example a mini-map and an inventory?
Yes. Yeah, you can have the minimap and inventory open. Yeah, I didn't show that very well in the video. So what it will do is essentially just retract some of the bottom section of the inventory to fit the minimap in it. As you kind of saw, there was a little bit of dead space within that section, so which is enough room actually for the minimap to come out across. So yeah, that is possible.
Awesome. And we're getting low on time. I just noticed the time, right? It just flew. We are running over, and so I'll have to make this our last question, unfortunately. Will it be possible to use quick chat on mobile?
Hopefully. Yeah, I know it's been turned off for a while because it doesn't play ball with our touch screens and stuff on mobile. But yes, it is something that we will look into the future to bring back. So I know a lot of people use quick chat to sort of show off sort of achievements and stuff in chat very quickly. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I mean, that was one hefty stream. We've even run over time. Thank you for dropping by. We honestly cannot wait to see how you turn up for mobile pre-reg. We know you're going to tell everyone and your family, friends, the dog that you know that has a mobile phone, if that exists. We know you're going to blow the thing up, is what we're saying. And we just want to say a massive thank you in advance for everything you're going to do to help grow the citizenship of Gielinor and kind of keep this world thriving and living a breathing thing. Just before I wrap up and give you a couple tidbits to end, Mod Warden, Mod Blam, I called you Blam, Bam. Anything you want to share at the end? Anything you want to say just before I close out?
For me, it's just to answer the question more clearly. We're not going to be releasing the rewards over time. They will all be released in June, and then beyond that, really excited for this launch. Really excited to have this on mobile. I'm playing it now. It's really great to play on mobile. It's very convenient. So look for more updates as we head to full release in the summertime.
And this is definitely a proud papa moment for me. You all like tease me about that, but I'm definitely in that mode today, and right around the corner for the even bigger moment. So.
Yeah, so on that note, thank you very much for watching. Please do pre-register. Let's get ready to welcome a whole bunch of new adventurers. We're going to have plenty more to talk about with mobile coming up. And just before we leave you, I just want to say, keep an eye out tomorrow on RuneScape.com. We're going to have another announcement not related to mobile. So keep an eye on RuneScape.com and our social channels tomorrow for a new bit of news. And also next Tuesday, as if this wasn't enough between today and tomorrow, we're also going to have a live stream talking about some new improvements coming to a RuneScape skill. We'll leave you with that mystery there. Exciting times. Until then, thank you everyone who joined us in the chat. Thank you everyone on the panel for spending the time out to tell you about mobile today. And take care, everybody. We'll see you next week.